meeting of the Alva Tourism Tax Meeting to order. And first thing, approval or disapproval of the meetings from the August 19th meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Juanita?
Aye.
Charles?
Aye.
Norma?
Aye.
Bryce?
Aye.
Next is the approval or disapproval of the August financial report. Can you give us details?
Yes. Okay, starting off we have $700,199.33, $1,500 for the Chamber of Commerce Tourism Center Secretary, $23,350 for the Race Big Cruise and Car Show, $2,100 for the Oklahoma Today advertising, $7,500 for the Northwest Oklahoma Team Camp, $4,500 for the 20th Annual NWOSU Football Golf Tournament and Auction, $5,000 for the Heartland Best 2016 Robotics Building Competition, $659 for the Woods County and Alva H2O Glow Run, $500 for Future, $2,500 for Standing, which leaves us with $652,590.33. And Norval did sign the Chamber of Commerce Tourism Center Secretary in the 20th Annual NWOSU Football Golf Tournament Auction and the Woods County H2O Glow Run.
Which did not use all the funds. So
Yeah, they didn't.
Neither event used all the
Yeah.
funds. So those actually came in cheap. Aren't any questions? I would entertain a motion to approve the financial report.
I'll move to approve financial reports.
I second.
Moved and second to approve the financial report.
Juanita?
Aye.
Charles?
Aye.
Norval?
Aye.
Bryce?
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is to approve or disapprove funds for the Chamber of Commerce Tourism Center Secretary, not to exceed $6,000.
Good evening. 7 years ago, the Woods County Economic Development partnered with Bank Central to create what is today our Visitor Center on Oklahoma Boulevard, 502 Oklahoma Boulevard. For a year, they recruited volunteers to serve that center, and throughout that year, we slowly dwindled in volunteer base. And so Woods County needed to find a way to keep that facility open and approached the Alva Chamber about having their office be in that building. And so we moved in there that year, and today we greet visitors from all over the country and internationally, and just this week we had somebody from Australia stop by. And our traffic continues to grow every year. We provide tourism materials and stock brochure racks. We mail packets of information to those requesting information. We field calls and emails daily from people looking at our community and wanting more information. We're a source of information for housing, restaurants, and hotels. And we are currently working on a new website, and I know to promote and market our businesses, and Woods County is working on a tourism site called Visit Woods County. We're asking for $6,000 to continue those efforts. Again, our traffic continues, and we think it's been a great effort. So that's my request.
When will the new website be available?
We're supposed to have the URL this week and go from there. So we're going to our edits and keep plugging away. So we're hoping very soon to have a new launch.
What about the sign situation? Where are we at with a new sign at the tourism center?
At this point, that project has not moved forward based on the easement of where that sign would have to be placed on that property per ODOT and how close it would be to that building. So we would need to secure a new location for that sign.
I move we approve the $6,000 request.
Motion to approve the $6,000.
I'll second.
Second.
Juanita?
Aye.
Charles?
Aye.
Norval?
Aye.
Bryce?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And I think you get to stay there. if it's
I get to
next.
stay. The next request is for the Red Carpet Country advertisement. Each year we come to you, the Tourism Tax Board, regarding this yearly ad in the Red Carpet Country Visitors Guide. The Red Carpet Country Visitors Guide is a regional tourism directory. It's placed all over, it's distributed in Oklahoma, Kansas, the Texas Panhandle, Alva Chamber of Commerce, of course, and other Chamber of Commerces throughout the 18-county region. Last year we did an ad, and I will show you last year's ad, and we will, of course, do something new for this year. We get a full-page, full-color ad in that publication that promotes our community. As our community declines in sales tax revenue, we feel it's very important that we encourage tourism to our community, for people to come to our community, visit, spend money, eat in our restaurants, shop, and we think that this guide will help us do that.
Is this just a one-time-a-year publication?
Yes, it is the 2017 Visitors Guide. There's other publications that Red Carpet Country puts out, but this is the big one that they do each year to disperse throughout the state and regionally.
Is this something you'd find perhaps in motels?
Yes, you will find it in visitor centers, hotels.
And that's the ones on I-35 and I-40?
Yes.
So the new one would have the website for tourism that is being worked on out at the VOTEC.
I believe the Woods County site would be on there, yes. We would definitely want to promote the tourism site as well as ours.
You said we've done this in the past?
Yes.
And every year we do a protest about how much it
I know.
costs, but
It
you
is
don't
a-
really have a choice. They
it
kind
is
of
a
have
high-
you.
But I think at the end of the application, it's marked as no. Oh, is this event new? I misread it, my fault.
Yeah. It should have a breakdown in the application of how many years we've been doing it.
I didn't turn enough pages.
We've done it for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I've been here 10 years and it's been done as long as I've been here.
Alex, do you go through the same printer?
Red Carpet, I know they've changed probably printing companies over the couple of years. I know they probably bid out the whole magazine.
I move we approve the request for $2,350.
$2,250, I believe it's for. I believe it's for $2,250.
Okay.
Actually, I think it
Mine
was
says
23.
23.
23.50.
Agenda says 2350.
Yeah.
A second.
So was your motion to approve the 2350?
2350, yeah.
You second.
I second.
Okay. Juanita?
Aye.
Charles?
Aye.
Norval?
Aye.
Bryce?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, the next, Next item of business is discussion and action on a request from NWSU Ranger Rodeo not to exceed $15,000.
Well, good evening again. How's everybody? Yeah, so that time of year again, Northwestern Rodeo, October 27th through the 29th this year. Not on Halloween, so that's kind of good for us, I think. Hopefully our kids' night will be a little better, a little more full than Friday night and Saturday night. We are requesting the amount of $15,000 for the NWSU Rodeo. This money goes directly to pay the stock contractors. It has the past, I think, 4 years that I've been here. And the $15,000 is pretty accurate. I think last year was $15,250. It's never been really below $15,000 that I can remember. This will help us be able to, with our ad sales, to pay the rest of the expenses. We got the clown this year. I think I got Rumford locked in, hopefully, so got him down to a reasonable amount so I could afford him. So this is going to basically help us pretty much break even on our rodeo. It's going to help us keep the individual prizes, do our special events prize money, just keep growing our rodeo, basically is what we try to do every year. We try to add something new, and it seems to be working. I think there was a lot of buzz about our rodeo last year with the matches and everything like that on the championship Saturday. And this year we're bringing back our jackpots on Sunday, so that's going to keep everybody in town Saturday night and Sunday. We haven't done them the last couple of years, just because the contractors didn't want to stay, but talked them into it this year, so that's going to keep everybody an extra day. And I think that's good for town, for everybody. So that's what we try to do. I try to do every year. So, any questions?
So the entry money is what pays the rest of the prize money, is that correct?
Yep. Yeah.
So you never know what the prize money is going to be until you see how many people enter?
Yep, it depends on number of entries. And then a percentage of their entry money goes into an actual prize pot, and that's what they pay out of percentages. Yeah.
And that's in addition to the other awards, the special events prize money?
Yeah, that's our match of champions on Saturday night. We have 5 events. The winner of the events, steer wrestling, team roping, breakaway roping, tie-down roping, we bring in some of our kind of what you call Hall of Fame or NFR qualifiers, some of our stars. We get them back in town, back in Alva. Everybody gets to see them again, and then they compete against the champions of their event in college. So it's kind of fun for the kids. You get to compete against a professional athlete, and whoever wins that wins a $250 prize, and that's put up by us.
So when you said a percentage of their gate goes into the prize money?
Yeah. See, the original one's like $50, the fees, but there's a $10 or $5 office charge, which pays the secretary, and then there's a $2.50 charge, which pays the regional director, which is Guy Smith this year, and then another $2.50 charge, which pays the student director. So everybody and then I think there's another charge that goes into awards for the end of the year. So that's kind of how they do that.
So the arena rent at $900, I guess that goes to the county?
Yep.
Is that what it's been all the other years?
Yep. I think when I first got here in 2012, the first year I did it, it was $650, and then it went to $900 after that. Yeah.
Are the motel rooms pretty booked during that time frame?
Yeah, they're pretty full, and they're a lot more open this year. So be able to I don't expect all the phone calls that nobody can book a room. Hopefully, we'll keep them all right here in Alva.
motion to approve the $15,000, not to exceed $15,000 to the NWOSU Ranger Rodeo.
Motion and a second, Jody.
Juanita?
Aye.
Charles? Norman?
Aye.
Bryce?
Yes.
Thank you,
Sir,
thank you very much.
have a good rodeo.
All right, we'll try.
Lots of people we don't.
You bet.
Next item on the agenda is action on moving the Cedar Grove Church to the museum complex.
Good evening, I'm Rose Blunt, and I'm here on behalf of the Cherokee Street Museum. The museum has awakened from a long slumber to become an active member of our community and surrounding areas. Several years ago, the board had a retreat with a motivational speaker, and he said, "You guys are all too old. Get some young blood." And we did, and with the guidance of the old geezers and the old guys, and the energy and new ideas flowing from the young pups, we have become movers and shakers in the community. Now, we're a working board. None of this, "Oh, you don't have to do anything." We work, and we work hard. The museum has provided opportunities to both young and old, as well as constantly improving our exhibits. We host 60 to 70 junior high students every year from Liberal who come for a field trip. We host about 100 students from Northwestern who come for a ghost hunt at the museum. We've had day trips for old people like me who want to be back in my bed at night. We've had summer camps for children, teaching early days as well as a mock land run. We've had an old-fashioned outdoor movie, and it was a huge success. And our crowning glory, of course, was Night at the Museum that attracted 400 people both years. And at this time, we are preparing a spectacular event called Talking Tombstones that will equal or exceed our Night at the Museum. The financial support of the community foundations and individuals is what is making this all possible. Here's what the board is seeking to do. Move the Cedar Grove Church to the museum compound, close to the new reception and meeting room that is now available, with seating for 75 to 100. We want to restore the church to its original conditions. Here are the reasons we need to do this. We want to preserve early rural settlers' history of our ancestors here in Oklahoma. And we also want to provide a wedding chapel, which is a much-needed service for young people in the surrounding communities in Alva. And last but not least, we want to provide financial opportunities for Alva businesses and specialty vendors. Along with original restoration, we want to build a small building that will allow the brides a dressing room along with bathrooms. This will provide a dual service by providing outdoor bathrooms when we have museum festivities, and we don't have to go traipsing into the museum. This little quaint church, along with the new reception and activity room, will make a perfect setup for what young brides are looking for today. To recap, we want to preserve history. We want an accommodation with a wedding chapel and a multi-purpose community room. And we want income opportunities for Alva vendors as well as the museum. I want to introduce Allison Rogers, who has been in the business of wedding photographer for 8 years. She's worked in ladies' clothing, and she's in sync with the younger generation. Allison is quite knowledgeable in knowing what young brides are looking for today. For those who don't know Allison, she's the fiancée of Brody Bush, and she's going to make a great addition to our community.
Hey, I'm Allison Rogers. I have been a wedding photographer for 10 years, and I have to say 80% of the weddings I shoot are in non-traditional spaces. And within the last year, I've only shot 2 traditional weddings. Wedding venues are the new trend. A wedding venue is a setting specifically created for weddings and a bride in mind. Currently, Alva does not have a wedding venue and is missing out on potential economic revenue. The winery in Greenwood is the closest destination for local brides. It accommodates for indoor-outdoor weddings, reception area, and small group lodging. Price for the day of using this facility is around $1,500, and that's only for the facility itself. The winery averages around 40 weddings a year. Musicians, florists, caterers, bakeries, lodging are all integral parts of a wedding. Just recently, 3 or 4 local brides chose this winery as their destination. This was a missed opportunity for Alva because their money went elsewhere. Trends in weddings are changing as younger brides are looking for trendy, quaint, and different locations to have their wedding. This wedding chapel with convenient reception hall will keep business local and boost Alva's economy while catering to the brides themselves. Does anybody have any questions?
You mentioned $2,000 a wedding.
Yes. The winery itself is about $15 for just the day of. And that's on the lower end for wedding venues.
What does that include? The 2,000?
So the 2,000 usually includes full use of the facility from around 12 o'clock to midnight. It's kind of around the time that most facilities like this run. That doesn't include usually any cleanup costs or anything like that. You look into, with some wedding venues, you know, if you want additional help that day of, like a planner, that might be included for a separate cost. But usually $1,500 is kind of the basic going rate for something that includes lodging, like the one in the winery. It has a indoor-outdoor area, has several different features to its venue.
We could probably draw from Woodward. As far as we know, there's nothing like this at Woodward wedding venue, as Allison calls it.
There's a convention hall in Woodward, but there is not a actual wedding venue standalone that caters to a bride.
And we've had many, many local girls go to Ringwood or work
Homestead and Reno and
in Barnes.
So you mentioned the reception area out there. We haven't, I'm very ignorant. I thought we weren't gonna be able to have one out there because we couldn't get an occupancy deal, and I think
Would you
that
like
the public in general is kind of, doesn't know what went on out there.
Okay, we'll bring you up to date. Brody, would you help us with that?
So because of the occupancy restrictions and stuff for us, we had to size down our facility. So we built a much smaller facility that we could fit on the grounds within our restrictions, you know, that we could manage and everything.
So what size is it?
It will accommodate up to 100.
So how big is that?
How big is it, Freddie?
40 to 50,
40 by 50 is reception area?
reception area.
What was the original proposal?
Well, we added on, let you guys talk, you know more about
We
it.
added on a building that was 52 by 80, just for antique stuff in there. Part of it come out of the old annex and that, and we redone the old annex building, which is the blonde building there. It's all under one roof now, and done that. And we've gotten quite a few calls for lots of needs for this building. Nobody has a PA system, most of them don't. Nobody has a projector in there where they can show pictures or anything. We will be able to have a catering service, electricity and everything, take care of a catering service if they want meals in there, and that's what we've done, or in the process. We're about 2 weeks from being completely done.
So which end of the building will be the reception area?
On the south end, where was the blonde brick on it,
In the old part,
the old part.
the new part,
To the new building.
what'd you say?
There's also the overflow into the new building too.
Yes, it will flow into the new building.
We'll have room in there to put tables also if we do need it.
Okay.
It'll be fully equipped with tables and chairs,
And
a serving area.
and the church is gonna be north of the
North of the
current
new building we built there.
And is that where you had some of your compaction problem and
The compaction problems was west of that. It was clear out on the west ends where we had too much building out there. We couldn't get it compact to what they wanted.
So there won't
We're-
be
we're
that
safe
kind of
there.
problem with this
No.
building?
We'll have no problems. I've talked to the inspector about this and told him what kind of footings, and he's happy with that.
So the 20 by 40 would be what, I guess that's what you're looking at adding, and also is a 20 by 40 building?
Yes, that's for the bathrooms and
The
dressing
little church-
areas.
The little church won't have, it'll be original.
Right.
We're gonna add this onto the west end of this building that we built now, which will be about to the middle of the street out here. Most of this is another thing that Allison has told us. The bride wants to be away from the church, where they're not bothered by people coming in and that. The trend has changed a lot, what she says, you know. A lot of them are not religious. And some of the churches don't want weddings in there very bad. I mean, that's a trend too.
Well, sometimes there's restrictions, is
Well,
it?
yeah, usually with a church congregation and religion, sometimes they have to do with that. But sometimes, they tell the bride they can't wear a strapless dress, they can't play secular music, they can't have over so many guests. Their guests can't stay over such a period of time. If they're going to have catering, they have to drop off and they have to pick up. And so wedding venues cater to the bride and say, hey, we understand you're going to have caterers. We understand you're going to have a wedding here. You can wear the dress you want to wear. You can play the music you want to play. Of course, there's going to be rules and regulations to cleaning up and all of that. But a more welcoming environment to get married in, and a place that brides feel comfortable in. They can spend a day, and they don't have to worry about rules and regulations of they can't wear a certain dress, or they can't, have certain people, or, so.
So how many will the chapel hold?
85. Adding 80 chairs in there, and you could add probably 15, 20 chairs if you had.
Easily 100. There's quite a bit of space around the side, isn't there, Brody? If we wanted to add even some old pews I saw were for sale someplace here.
But we get all the pews and everything with that. And that preserves the history of it.
So what we donated before, the $150,000.
1,000 went into the building that we built over the annex and that, and then for this, where we can display all kinds of really some farm equipment and that. I mean, you'll have to come out and see we put our new fire truck. It's made in 27. It's Alva's second fire truck in there. We've never been able to display it where people could come and see it. And the fire department is taking that over. If they're making their own display, it's going to be an elaborate display in there where they've got a lot of stuff to display. And Kirk is thinking about letting us have Alva's first fire truck that he owns. Well, he's still considering it. He hasn't said yes and he hasn't said no. We're hoping that he will do that so we can have both first and second fire truck of Alva.
How about the Legion? We've given them a room, haven't we?
Yes.
And the Leaper family is bringing us a combine, providing we have a place for it, which would be in the new building.
They've got a combine that they've had in a shed, a dry shed since '52. It's a 27 Massey. I mean, no, it isn't perfect paint, but it's the perfect something you're going to see in that age that hasn't been repainted.
And then we've also put up a shed for the machinery. What would you call it?
It's just a covered walkway type for the older machinery. We're going to put that all under there. Because there's some money out there that we can apply for to refurbish this old equipment, but you have to have a roof over it.
That has been added to just recently.
One thing I noticed, you mentioned it will bring economy for the merchants in town.
Well, it should bring quite a little bit because, you talk about places to stay, the places to eat, the flowers, all that's
anybody that's had anybody get married within the last 10 years know how much you can spend on just flowers themselves. The average bride spends $2,000 on a wedding dress, and that's, yeah, for Alva that might be up there, but that's just the average overall. Photographers, you can talk about $1,500, and for them to be able to choose Lynn Martin or somebody local, you're going to be able to provide vendors that are local to Alva while providing a venue where they can get married. So it's all inclusive to businesses around the area, and you're providing those services to a venue that's also in Alva. And if people from the surrounding areas would be able to get married at this chapel as well. So Woodward, people as far as if Ringwood, maybe they don't want to get married at the winery. Maybe they have the dream of getting married in a small, quaint chapel. And so this is what the Cedar Grove Church could provide to the museum.
When is, if you get your money secured, when is your approximate estimation of opening?
I was afraid you'd ask that, Bryce. I'd say 6 months, Bryce. The mover is about 2 to 3 months behind. And then you're getting into winter time, and that, we got to put the original front back on it, like was, that the people remember that. And with one thing about this church out there, it had the, and I don't know what you call it, the metal type ceiling in it, the decorative metal. They have it covered now. If we do this, we're going to uncover it, put it back original, which really makes, it's a great looking ceiling.
It's beautiful.
One of the antique people here would love to buy it just for that tin. He wanted to get it on there because it's something they don't make anymore.
How big is the church?
24 by 40 without the front, plus the front that we're going to put back on it.
I will tell you, I've had 2 of my daughters that were married somewhere else, and we called those other towns to get the cake and the flowers because I didn't want to take them clear to Kansas or Arkansas or wherever we were at, so we made all our plans through those states instead of in Alva area. So I know how that feels.
We feel like it will be an economy of help that'll keep helping,
And
Yeah.
with the university here too, living in Stillwater, I experienced the same thing. People are meeting people in college, and then they, maybe get married in college, maybe graduate, stay in town, stay part of the community, and decide to get married. For them to be able to get married in the town they graduated from, met their honey from, would be something special we could provide to students here at Alva. I know, being from Stillwater, there was only just a couple of locations when I went to school in Stillwater. And now that I've already graduated and passed on from that school and moved, now there's about 5 new venues within the last year. And before they were even completed, they were booked within a year and a half in advance, before even ground had been finished for their venues. So the need for not only in Alva, but being a college town, to take advantage of the students that are coming in here and meeting their, future husbands and wives, to give them that opportunity. Maybe they don't have a huge budget. That would be a great opportunity for them to be able to get married here in Alva.
I have a granddaughter who was just married over by Stillwater in one of those venues. Just for using their facilities was $5,000.
When shooting weddings for 10 years, I have to say, I've been to some huge venues that provide everything. They provide a florist and so to be able to say, well, we don't provide that, but we've got, 6 different florists in the town of Alva that can provide you your flowers, and 2 great bakeries, and, 5 great photographers. And
You also mentioned that you have funds pledged.
Yes,
Do you already have those funds or just pledged?
we've got
No. They're solid, unless the bank goes broke.
Bank Central has told us they would provide $25,000. And then we have $27,000, or almost $27,000 already on hand that's been pledged.
We've got the money.
So that much
will go into this, as far as sharing all of this information out about this.
Oh, there will be just all kinds of marketing. I'm in touch with Brides of Oklahoma magazine. I have a real close relationship with them. I mean, having a wedding venue, you do any type of marketing. Facebook page will be created.
Yeah.
You know, having a representative to, when people call, they can answer all the bride's questions, help in a booking, do kind of a tour of the facility, and just kind of get the word out that a new facility will be brought to Alva. And I think, you know, bookings are going to happen within just a couple of months of the news being out there. People are going to be really interested in getting married in Alva and having a small chapel that's quaint with a reception hall right close. They can do it all within a close facility.
When is the wedding season? You told me, but I forgot.
Wedding season in Oklahoma is anywhere from fall to, I would say, late May just because of the heat, and then it picks up from September all the way into November. People still do summer weddings. That's still a thing, even though it's usually hot. But an indoor facility would mean that you could do indoor weddings. But some people might want to get married in front of the chapel. That would be an option too, to have a little ceremony out in front with the chapel in the background. So.
Was this chapel going to be air conditioned?
Yes.
The last time I saw that lot, I think there'd have to be a lot of landscaping too.
Yes. Yes.
Unless you were having a red dirt wedding.
Well, I've had a lot of people get married in wheat fields too, so.
And we're also going to make accessible the barn. We're going to clean it out and have, because some people want to have a barn dance or the reception in the barn.
Or
Hay
get
bales,
married in the
whatever,
barn.
or get married in the barn. We've never really utilized it except for storage, as long as I've known of it. So it's really a cool place.
How big's the barn?
Huh?
How big is the barn?
40 by 24, I believe. It's 40 feet long, but I'm not sure about the width.
And then it's got a loft up above the storage.
We've had requests from square dancers from the high school prom, from several other organizations that want to use our facilities.
Well, I'm kind of new on this committee, so I ask a lot of stupid questions sometimes. But
That's not a stupid question when you don't know.
all the other things we do, they usually spend the money and bring us a receipt. Is that right?
Yes.
And then we pay what we pledged we would. How would that work with?
That's no problem. I can bring you $25,000 receipt tomorrow.
No.
That's what it costs to get it moved.
But you haven't got it moved yet, you've got it.
No,
Right.
but that's what it's going to, that'd be the first bill we get, will be the $25,000 to move it.
Yeah, but you know you're gonna pay that guy up front.
No.
Everybody-
I've been to that school.
You know, we kind of upfronted money before, and we basically are a back-end organization. We pay after the fact. You bring
No
us
problem,
the
that'll be great
truck,
with us.
you know.
We'll be happy to bring you the bill. But,
A local mover or who?
no, it's from Fairview. There's not many local movers.
That may be as local as it gets.
That's the only one we can find. He kind of look at it. It's all hydraulic now, the way they move them. He says it's going to be a piece of cake.
Give him some wedding cake.
But they are busy. Like I said, they're 2 to 3 months behind. And as far as I know, nobody else. And this is their livelihood. It's Martin's out of Fairview.
Do you remember what road they were going to take?
We're going to go down the 1 mile west, come in there, come down 64, go around the fairgrounds, come down that way, back up to the water tower corner and go north.
It'll be an event.
We can't bring it by the water tower. There's 2 lines there. 2 big lines, and it takes $10,000 to raise them. So that's the reason you got to go around the fairgrounds to get by that. They had to do the same thing when they brought the school in, that they got at the college, that's how they had to bring it in. They brought that from out west. And everybody from northwest of town, you know, about all of them went to that church out there. You talk to any of them, well, yes. It was kind of the hub of the community there for many, many years, and then now they built a new church there.
I move we approve the request for $50,000 and it be after the fact.
I second.
It's done.
Did it pass?
Yes.
Juanita,
They'll have to tie.
Charles, Norval,
Aye.
Bryce.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
If you get married, come up.
Well,
we're really
we'd
excited.
like to invite you all to come up here in 2 or 3 weeks and walk through what we've done.
I think we would like that, to come up and see what actually is there, and I think the whole community is kind of wondering. We've had people ask us.
We really are movers, and these guys, they work like dogs.
Oh, I know that's
Freddie works like dogs.
They work hard, and we appreciate them.
Well, I would like to also think that maybe there's some church groups that like to have a revival or some kind of conference type, in that old church. And maybe Cedar Grove will come up with something, come back to their church for something special.
We feel like once they see what's happening, we'll get some more donations from the Cedar Grove community.
They was doubting at one time that we could get it done.
They were a lot more interested when the oil boom was on. On a way then.
Something go at the expense of their church.
If you've been to Enid, to their museum complex, they have a little church. They also have a country school. And they tell me down there that it's used quite a lot, just for people to come and look at, not necessarily to have weddings there, but just to come and spend a little time in their church.
And the Route 66 Museum in Elk City has a little chapel, and they have weddings there as well. So
It's a big industry
Went to one there.
today, wedding venues.
I know we can say, because we get married in January, and it's been, they say about a year, and that's pushing it to plan a wedding nowadays because of the money and the time it takes to get a dress in. It takes 6 months to get a wedding dress in unless you buy it off the rack. So, unless it fits you perfectly.
But the trend is really for a smaller wedding. I mean, cause you feed 300 or 400,
It's
but like you used to. Grandpa better have a good checkbook.
Or, everybody in the family would cook, and now it's like.
Or in your case, Freddie, all boys.
Oh, but good girl!
Well,
If there ain't a mistake.
we just went through a wedding, most of you know, in July, middle of heat, outdoors. We bought the majority of the stuff in Alva and took it all out south of Shattuck. I don't know if it would have been any different because we had lodging out there, part of the family and stuff. But they were looking for somewhere small with no guests, basically. And so we did it for about 60 people. And we right on the farm, so we fed them and everything there. But we took a lot of stuff from Alva to go to that wedding.
Well, I know one couple's getting married over at the winery in a month here, and it's just strictly family. They're paying that $1,500.
Yeah.
So you have enough room up there, you can probably plant a vineyard.
That's an idea.
We got all on our plate we can handle.
That would be a nice.
Rose like to
I will buy a bottle of wine. Go ahead, buy a bottle of wine.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We think we're rolling. We're excited. I think it's a good investment. As long as
We'd like you all to come up. Any day but Monday, we're there.
If you wanna come on Monday, I'll come up there.
If you wear work clothes, you get to work.
All right, the next item on the agenda is remarks and inquiries by the Tourism Tax Committee. Charles, how's the arena going?
Encouraged by the guys named Joe. Henderson came up. Open our eyes as to possibilities, kind of like these people are talking. You know, we were pretty tunnel vision with it, you know, couldn't think of all the things and possibilities. Encouraging.
It was mentioned at the last meeting about an audit for our committee and motels, or hotels, or both. And I spoke with Joe Don about that, and the new auditing firm that the council just approved to have for the city would be able to do that. Of course, we'll have to pay it out of our own budget, which I believe in September a year ago, you all approved that. So that's already done. So I will get with Joe Don, and we'll try to get that moved going forward and get that started and do what we need to do there.
Excellent.
And I had one other remark I wanted to say. I think that when we make a motion and vote on it, that we should be rotating our starting of our vote. So Ms. Dawson doesn't have to be the first one to vote on every motion, or that I'm the last one to vote on every motion. And I don't know exactly if there is a way to do it or not to do it, but I just think we sure need to rotate our voting so that we're not always in the same voting.
And Jody usually does that. She had a little bigger crowd tonight than she's used to. She's not a big crowd person.
But yeah, I can do that.
But I've seen her do that before.
It makes it harder to keep the minutes, I'm real sure, but I think it would be better if I'm on two different, I'm in city council and I'm on another board as well, and they usually ask the person that made the motion to vote
That's what I was
first.
going to say.
And then the person that made the second votes second, and then the other two are randomly alternated.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
And I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, person who made the motion votes first, second, and go from there. I like that.
That's all I have.
Especially because the chairman hardly ever makes the motions. And I can report on the car show. We had, again, another record number of cars. It grew another 17%, so 474 entries. So
474.
yes. Plus all the others. That doesn't count all the runs and Cub Scouts and all the other things that go on. So that was just people who brought vehicles.
I'm glad you said you wanted to report on the car show, because I was going to mention that too, and I forgot. But I want to give you guys accolades on what you do for our community and what you do bring into our community for that weekend, because that's big. That was very big.
The new directors did a good job.
It's interesting, and it brings different people into town.
They are different.
I'm not saying that's not exactly what I meant, but
Well, I had a prominent person tell me a year or two ago that, you know, he was reflecting back and says there hadn't been this many people now, but since, you know, before TV almost, you know, I mean, that kind of he was elated with back then, and then like you say.
well, I bet some of the older generation almost really enjoy it, because you see some of Alva's old pictures and they're parked in the middle of the street all the way around the square on Friday and Saturday, you know, and that's kind of how the car show does it. So I'm sure that would bring a lot of old memories back for some of our older citizens.
Yeah, I mean, they're parked, and that's one of the items of discussion next year is where do we put more cars?
It's a good good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, but it's definitely a problem.
We brought our upper bound students from Alfalfa, Major, and Woods County, and we had close to 40 high school students from all 3 counties to attend. We've done this the last several years. We take them all around and let them look, and a lot of times their parents will come and pick them up and take part in the car show and
Cool.
check everything out. So, I get excited about that every year.
They're just, well, as you guys saw, I mean, there's just herds of little kids, and I think that's the coolest part, because those kids will remember that forever.
You had an extremely hot weekend for it, though. Gosh.
Beats them.
Beautiful weekend, but it was hot.
It was hot, but it wasn't raining, so.
Yeah, rain's not very good for a car show. The heat would be better than it rain. You're right.
Do you have a feel for motel occupancy?
Yes, probably the most feel I had was people telling me, hey, I couldn't get into the motel I wanted, and, lots of people said that they had to downgrade a ways or go out of town.
So the motels were completely full this weekend.
Pretty full, pretty much, as far as I know, they were completely full.
'Cause they've been pretty.
The holiday
They've
was
been pretty
good.
empty on the weekend.
Yeah, no, I believe.
Well, I was going to report to you the last, because it was kind of talked about at one of our last meetings.
Weeks or months.
I think the last team that came in to play Northwestern actually stayed in Alva.
Awesome. That was great.
They were able to get rooms here. So that's nice too, I think.
That's very nice. You bet. Any other remarks?
I'm really excited about the Cedar Grove Church coming in. As far as wedding venues, I just believe that it will bring a lot of revenue to our town. And as, they said, the trend today, people are looking for the untraditional. It seems like the younger generation is moving in that direction. I've got 2 daughter-in-laws that are younger, and it's the same with, one is traditional, but, their friends, all the talk is going to somewhere maybe outside of town or a big barn or just something. So I can really see this taking off, especially in Alva. It's going to be a great thing for the merchants. I can see how people would turn to the different ones around here to put on a big wedding at the museum. So I don't know, I see potential, big potential with that. I'm excited for it.
I think this committee has a very important role in the fact that, sales tax in the future is going to be based a lot upon tourism, because with all the online shopping, a lot of your everyday mundane things are not going to generate the sales tax that they're supposed to. So it's going to
The
take.
museum benefit financially, they struggle,
Yes, absolutely.
to cover their bills year to year, so
Yeah, hopefully they can benefit from this.
I think it's going to be more about the marketing part, as far as getting that word out about, what a sweet experience this could be if that's done properly. I think that could bring in a lot of the younger people.
Right.
To get more.
Trick to get the right person to be in there first.
yeah, with a good experience.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, definitely a good experience.
The photography and
You
the
get,
whole 9
you
yards.
get a well-known bride and a well-known groom that's young, and all their friends maybe aren't married yet, and
The word spreads.
That's
in
right.
a hurry. In a hurry. It'd almost be worth doing the first and free.
Yeah, if you got the hand tattoo.
Yes, you got the hand picked.
I don't think they'll have a hard time booking the first one. Somebody will want to be the first one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, if there are no more remarks, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion and a second.
Juanita,
Aye.
Norval,
Aye.